Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Sometimes you have to stop and think about what's unique about the United States for the good of the nation. And I want to thank those people at the federal, state, and local level who put their own lives on pause in order to try to help their fellow Americans. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Sometimes you have to stop and think about what's unique about the United States for the good of the nation. And I want to thank those people at the federal, state, and local level who put their own lives on pause in order to try to help their fellow Americans. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Sometimes you have to stop and think about what's unique about the United States for the good of the nation. And I want to thank those people at the federal, state, and local level who put their own lives on pause in order to try to help their fellow Americans.
Now, Ben Carson did exactly what they tell you not to do. He coughed in his hand, and then he turned around and touched his face. Now, anybody that is exposed to Trump should definitely get themselves checked. And I do not believe that Trump was tested. And if he was tested, how did he get his results back so quickly when they said the average is about 3 days? Now, it was said he got tested Friday, but Saturday, not even 24 hours later, he got his results. And when people asked him to post his results, he refused. I don't believe Trump was ever tested. That's just my opinion. The results just don't come back that fast. But let's talk about Ben Carson, who is a doctor and should know better. HUD Secretary Ben Carson coughs into his hand at a coronavirus news conference, and then he later on touched his face, which they said you absolutely should not do. So a cabinet level cough on video set off a Twitter storm. People on Twitter was dragging this man, dragging him bad. The tweets came fast and furious after HUD Secretary Ben Carson committed a coronavirus etiquette fall. And this was at a White House conference, no less. So the former neurosurgeon stepped up to the podium to make a few remarks, but he only gets a few words out. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, before he coughs into his hand and touches his face, then touches the podium. Now, we are in a climate where people are paranoid about the coronavirus, and this is what this man does in front of an audience. Moments later, Trump and Pence had spoke into the same mic. And y'all, I saw an article that said they are taking the temperatures of anybody that has been around Trump. Now, if you don't think Trump has the coronavirus, why would you be doing that? Okay, it makes no sense. Not unless they know he really does have it. But see, I agree with what one of the doctors said online. They believe Trump put that out in the press that he was negative just to get the press off his back, because they kept asking him over and over and over, did you get tested? And he got tired of it. And I guess he thought that was a way of quashing it. But one thing I do know, if you have this illness, it is going to hit him like a ton of bricks eventually. So, it was just going over more about Ben Carson should know better than to cough into his hand. And he knows what kind of climate that we're in. So, of course, he got dragged badly. And just picture this. He probably went home and gave this stuff to his wife. I kid you not. I believe Trump and many people in his administration should just quarantine themselves, and stop trying to put on airs like there's nothing wrong with you when we can see there is something wrong. I heard the way Trump was gasping when he gave his statement. Just 2 days ago? No, something is wrong. And to me, it's very selfish when you want to put on airs like everything is fine around you, when we already seen senators self-quarantine, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not the first time that Trump has tried to hide or not, or try to put on airs like he's so great and excellent shape. If y'all remember, he went to that emergency checkup. And of course, that's what they labeled it, but I believe it was heart problems. But he said, the press said it was an emergency checkup. I never heard of an emergency checkup. Okay, I never heard of that. And if you remember, when he was running for president, he never did release his medical records. He gave this report that was laughable. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist for you to see Trump and see he's obviously obese. He's not in good shape. And he does have heart problems and eats very poorly. And, they said he would be a perfect candidate for the virus to really be a potential danger to him because he's not in the best of shape. So, I think we're going to see Trump and his administration fall one by one to this coronavirus. And I think Ben Carson is sick. And they need to stop ignoring this and go quarantine or do what you got to do. It's not worth it. Putting on airs in front of her, it's not worth it. Just think about each day you're around people who you're infecting. So how much do you really care if you're going to continue down this path? Trump has been around several people with this virus. There's no way he don't have it. I don't care what him and his doctor came back and said. Trump lies every day. What is he up to? About 10,000 lies? Okay, you can't believe anything from him and this administration. You just can't. Look, he was less than a week ago, he was standing there saying there was only 15 cases in the country and 0 by this week. Do we have 0? This is why a lot of people are now complaining about the leadership coming out of Trump and his administration. It's been very poor. If you're sick, then damn it, you're sick. Go somewhere and do something about it. Nobody believes any of these people are Superman. They're not. And you're not above getting sick.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Sometimes you have to stop and think about what's unique about the United States for the good of the nation. And I want to thank those people at the federal, state, and local level who put their own lives on pause in order to try to help their fellow Americans.
Well, Ben Carson, please have enough sense to get yourself checked. It's best to know if you have coronavirus than not know. I'm just saying. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.